Hey guys, how's it going? This is a trailer I picked up. I don't think I ever showed it. I don't know, about 2 years ago. And what's nice about it, it's light. It doesn't have any brakes or anything. It's on the simple side, aluminum, and it has a wooden decking on it. I didn't do much modifications to it other than adding a winch on the front, but I do want to get some other stuff done on it and try to make the trailer last a little longer. Hence what we're making the video on. What I mean by lasting a little longer is the wood decking that is on it. Again, it's only about 2 years old, but you can already see it's starting to go and get dried out. It's pressure treated, but you can see it's cracking and it's checking, and eventually over time, it's going to continue to fail. You probably get about 8 years out of it if you didn't do anything. So I want to try and coat it with something and see if we can make it last a little bit longer, and then do some additions to it just to make it a little bit more useful. A couple things that was cool about it when I bought it, what I liked about it is that on the front comes off. That is a ramp, and the other side is the same thing. There's a ramp on the other end, and those ramps can go on the end right here like you would typically load, but also you could take it from the side. You could add ramps on the side of the trailer and bring like a four-wheeler right up the side, up over that rail, and back into the center of the bed. It's kind of like what it's designed for. That's why the edges lean out like they do. So we're going to get into it and see if we can make this last a little bit longer. I've used it quite a bit. It works very well on a smaller truck, and again, if you're, you want a whole bunch of weight behind you, it does what it's supposed to be doing. But we are going to soak this decking material. Plus, we're also working with another camera that is I'm recording in 4K. It's probably not going to come out in that on this video, but I'm trying to steer the videos more to a better quality, and this is a learning curve for me. So this video is probably more about me learning how to run the camera than what the actual topic is, but let's go see how we work out. All right, let's get the front and rear ramp off of it, and I want to try to get her up in the air a little bit and see what we can do, mix up for a concoction to soak into that wood. It just has a couple of pins that pull out on each side. Off. Like that. You can just take it right out of it. Like I said, you can either lay it down and it'll go into a groove, or it'll lay up on top of this railing over here. Like that. Put two of them up, and you can ride four-wheelers, get them lengthwise instead of having them drive up on the back and turn them sideways. Well, that's different. What could possibly go wrong? So you can see the difference on the wood on this side, and then you come around the other end. And we'll see that, like the fresh as the day was put on there. But I do want to try to seal up that side of it also, hence why we lifted it like we did. Also, I just want to kind of take a peek at some other stuff, see how it's done. I don't know if there's a date on this. So it's a 3,500 pound axle, and I believe the trailer weighs 700 pounds, 600 pounds. It shouldn't be all that heavy. It's got a load capacity of 2,700 around there. But let's go see what we can do. It's like a big mousetrap. Yeah, that's safe. I was hoping the fork truck went up a little bit higher. Could have stood it right up, but I guess that's what we're going to work with. So in the past on cars, I've done bar and chain oil, and again, you're dealing like rusty metal, and I would spray or brush underneath. I think we're going to go try some motor oil, because I want it to be able to soak into the wood, into the pores. And if the oil is in deep in the pores, water can't get in there. But that's going to be a little on the thick side. So let's try cutting it with kerosene. Hopefully those two mix. They should. Let's say something like that. maybe 50-50, maybe a little 60-40 on the oil side of things. And we can kind of play with it and see how we like that setup. If the two mix or not. I'm gonna let it set for a second. See if they settle out or not. If not, we gotta come up with something else. I think they are. I think we're good. Now we could do a roller. I think would be good for not trying to make a mess of the garage. And like I said, I have what's called a, it's called a Schultz gun. It's a spray gun for shooting undercoating. An oily kind of undercoating. And that looks something like that. You fill the container up with oil and you shoot underneath. You can get in all the cracks and all, but I think I want to try playing with the roller, at least on a lower level, and see how we like that. And if we don't like that, then we'll switch over to the spray gun. But for the spray gun, it needs to be at least this thin anyway to come out of it. Set the oven to 350. Bake for 20 minutes. Let's go see how that does on a roller. What do you want to go with? Really squishy one? Or not so squishy? Let's go with 3/4. That should suck it up like a sponge, huh? It's even the right color. Oh yeah. Now the question is, how well does it transfer over to the wood? How long does it run off? Nah, holds it pretty good. Shall we? Let's give it a shot. We'll just give it a test down here. This trailer, I've had it indoors for about a week, trying to getting all the moisture out of it so it's as dry as possible. But let's just see what it does. I kind of like that. Yeah. But I really want to do the nasty side first, you know, I got to get up underneath. So I'm going to go roll the underside of it with it, and so that way when I'm working under there, it's not trying to drip down on me. You know, if I could flip the trailer over, which might have been a good idea to take the trailer, try to go this way with it, but I don't want to beat up the aluminum too much. Wish me luck. I see a ladder in my future. Let's just try a test sample on the bottom. Yeah, so like I said, the transfer is going to be a little harder because it's going to want to roll off where gravity is on our side on the other end. And I do think the other side is the more important side of it, but I still kind of would like to get what we can going around it, you know. It's going to rot from the top, but I want to try to hit all of it that I can. I am going to go hop up on a ladder. We got another 3 of these chambers up above us to go do. Let me finish this one out. And then I'm going to go do them and work our way down to the floor down there. And then maybe we'll lay the trailer down and do the decking. So I actually went over it twice. I got about 3/4 of a gallon that I used up. Because as soon as I was done, you look back at it, the shininess went away. It really absorbed it. Let's see if I can show you the difference from, I don't know if it's showing up. That one was just done. That one's done twice, but it's been sitting. So it really sucks it up really good. Plus I kind of like the fact that it's on an angle. Some of it runs down behind the beams. And again, it's probably where it's really going to want to rot out is where it has a hard time drying out over it. So I got tarps down, but not a whole bunch is on the floor. And that's kind of the idea of the roller. I didn't want to fill up the whole garage with a mist of oil going all over everything. So I think we are good. I think we could lay it back down again, get rid of the mouse trap, and we'll go to the upper deck. You don't see that kind of repair every day now, do you? So I rolled it onto the tarp just to save the floor. Here's that first section that we did. You can already see, like I said, on the underneath, it really dried out. You can see a bunch of the dry spots in it. That's how much it absorbed. I really want it to go into these little pores. Our area is winter. We have a winter, and what happens is water gets on top of this, and it goes in there, and it freezes, and when water freezes, it expands. It pushes these little seams apart, and over time, that is what, they just keep growing, you know, and before you know it, they're just into dust. So the upper part is probably the more prevalent. Plus, also too, when it gets snow on it, probably be easier to shovel because the ice and snow won't be able to really stick to the top of it. I'm not that concerned about, you know, this thing's going to have stuff that's dripping oil on it in general anyway. So I'm not that concerned about it. Will it be a little more slippery? Yeah, maybe. But as long as you're aware of it, I think we'll be okay. I say that now, right? All right, let's go give that another shot. Let's go give her a second coat right in the spot that we did already. We'll see what kind of... You can see it goes on real glossy and then it soaks in. So I don't know how many coats we're going to need on this. Plus, you know, also around where the screws are is probably real important. And I'm hoping that we get it wet enough that it just kind of runs down in between the grooves there a little. I'm trying to put it on enough where it goes in, but it's not start dripping on the floor. Like if you push on the roller, like, you know, you're painting a house or you're insiding, it will push the paint off and it will drip off. A little bit of a learning curve. But again, you just watch that right there. Get it as much as I can. It's shiny on top, and as we sit here and watch it, it just kind of gets absorbed right back into it again. So I am going to go probably put about another gallon on top of here, and we'll let it sit, let it go down in the pores a little bit, maybe a second coat, and we'll leave it at that for now. And we'll get into some of the other things that we need to take care of. I like it though. See, like how fast it's already gone. Some probably better than others. So I did find, you got to mix it up a little bit. It does seem like it does want to settle out if it's left for a while. And found a broom handle. So instead of crawling around, get herself an office job and hit it. Oh, so much nicer. I think 2 gallons in so far. Maybe what we'll do is we'll let it set overnight. See how it looks in the morning, whether we want to give it one more or not. We'll see. You get the idea, right? I don't think you're watching paint dry, watching oil dry. It's an oil-based paint, yes it is. Alright. I am going to continue. Give it another gallon, gallon and a half on there. And then we'll do something else. Well, it's the next day. feels pretty good. It's not slippery. Yeah, it's not slippery where you're kind of sliding around on. It seems like it absorbed it pretty decent. You know, in case where the aluminum is, it's slippery with the whales on it. We'll wipe that off with a rag. I'm happy with that. I'm not gonna go any more on it. What we put into it? Let's go take a peek. So we didn't use that one, but we got 5 quarts and a gallon in there, and I think we used about 2 gallons. Yeah, 4 gallons and change got spread across that whole thing and absorbed into it. Really did a good job. Good, let's go kick into something else. So the next problem it has is to tie stuff down. You could tie stuff to the bars. It's kind of okay. I'd rather have some cleats and stuff that are on the floor. So I'll show you what I went shopping at a, it was a closeout. It was like a furniture store, appliance and furniture store. And I guess it went belly up, and they have a company that comes in and they sell a bunch of, you know, anything that's left over, including like the shelving and, you know, whatever stuff is laying on the floor. And towards the end of it, they throw stuff in a hopper. And they did. So here's the hopper that I ended up getting. And like I said, they put price tags on them. And they're on the floor. And that might be the company that was there. It's named Bins. And I saw these straps kind of hanging out of it. I'm like, good, ratchet straps. There was other stuff in here too, on top of this. But they had these ratchet straps that are in there. Awesome. I go put those with my newest trailer. And I looked at the end of it. It doesn't have like the regular straps that you have on, you know, the conventional ones with the hooks that click on. These are made for like a trailer, an enclosed trailer and stuff, and they would click into the wall. So I already invested in the straps, so I invested in something else. So I hit my local Harbor Freight. The plates that you would screw down to the walls, and they click into these. So instead of using them on the walls, my thinking is maybe we'd screw them down to the decking, and we could use that for like ratcheting points, kind of like you would just with regular, you know, D-rings or whatever you would put on a trailer. So let's go take some time, go figure out like kind of placements, how we like things. I would be able to try to set it up the best, you know, for different type of vehicles, four-wheelers, motorcycles, garden tractors, whatever we're gonna go use this trailer for, go-karts and whatnot, that maybe be the most useful for us. There is 5 of these, and they are like the commercial ones. They're not like cheap junk ones. Also in the middle of it, this black thing here, this, kind of wondering what this is. This is for appliances. Like you ever see like when a refrigerator gets moved in the house, 2 guys get on it and they each of them put a harness on. This is one of the harnesses. There's a big heavy strap that goes underneath the machine, which is this. And there's a harness on the other end, and the guys just support the machine on each side of it, and the harnesses hang from the bodies, and they just walk into the building. So we got 6 and 4. I'm not a big fan how these are all so close together. Plus, probably want something in the middle. Suggestions? Let's go with put the big ones in the corners. So what's your thoughts? I kind of like, wouldn't mind something more in the middle though, just in case we're like, we do two motorcycles, one on each side. Something to, you know, to go down on each side on that. I like the corners. I like the way that works out, and I like the piece here and the piece on the other end. Just what do we do with those other four? Well, how about we can always add some later too. You know, it's not like that has to be the final say. I'm kind of liking that. I am gonna go contemplate, and if so, we'll start figuring out how we're gonna go attach them down to the deck. The only thing I don't like is these right here. They're barely catching on those two outer boards, and that middle one doesn't have much strength. So maybe we want to think about those a little bit. So we're going to shop around for hardware. Kind of what I found. My thinking is this. These long ones we can nut and bolt, we'll drill right through, but maybe we'll go like one in on each quarter. That way we're not in the little thin parts of the boards where they touch. And we'll bolt those together. Then we can, I have a bunch of these self-tappers right here. Maybe we'll take these and we'll buzz them in all the other holes. You know, maybe the ones that, like that one right on the edge, we'll skip. But we'll run, pre-drill them, and maybe we'll run these in. And for the plates, like the, we only have 4 bolt holes, we'll just do 4 of these with washers down below to draw them down. And we don't like it, we'll change it. But for now, that's what I got to work with. So let's get to getting. Let's just try one and see how it works out. I got a drill bit. I don't want to split it. Let's go put a drill bit. My thought is, each hole that we do, we'll put a little bit of oil in it to kind of help the same idea. I don't know if that'll help or hurt. I don't think the hardware will pull out easier because it's got oil on it. I guess we're going to find out. This is our practice one. That's pretty good. That'll be easy because it's not going to move around. I kind of like that. That's already pretty tough. And like I said, actually I kind of screwed it up, huh? I was going to do the bolts there. Oh well. On the next one, we'll put the bolts there, and then we'll put the lags everywhere else. On this one, we'll put these here. I got shorter ones too. All right, we got a battle plan. I'm gonna go take some time, knock all them out. You guys can go get yourself a beverage, and I'll meet you back here when it's all back together. I decided to go with lags on all of them. I think it's overkill. I'm going to save those long bolts for the those other little plates. But I think that's got a pretty tough. Plus the other part is good because they're on an angle. There's not bolts lined up that want to try to split the board because there's a bunch of holes in the center. They're all racked on an angle, so each one's on a different grain going across the board. Now I'll go knock out the rest of them. and kind of the after. I decided to move things around a little bit. I like the X of the four of those. That way, if something big is in the center, we have a capacity to turn it down. We have one going from front to back and left to right on that front one. And I'm gonna get two more right where this ratchet strap is here. I want to put one here and one here. My thought is you could get lumber or sheetrock or plywood or anything. You could run two bales going across the side of it, and then maybe one up the center of it. I kind of like it. It's not like I'm gonna put a car or anything on it, So yeah, that's not going anywhere. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not sure the usefulness of the ones in the middle, because the thing is they kind of pull. You kind of want to pull straight on them. It's not like the hooks where you can kind of lean them on an angle. I guess you could. It's not going to hurt anything, but they're meant to kind of strap fairly straight down on something. And I think we got that fairly covered. Again, if I get one more set up. Go see how these go together, for those who don't know. So they just have a hook that can lock in only one direction. It's got a little latch on it that you can pull. So you draw it to that side, go back and let go. And that's it. It can't fall out of there until you pull the latch again. Go to that side, that'll lift out. I like them. Again, the hooks are probably maybe a little stronger. I'm not sure of that. And we still have the original setup with, I think this trailer was intended to use the railings to tie it down, but I definitely wanted something on the decking also. Something a little bit more dedicated to what it should be, to what it's to what I think it should be. All right, so what else do we have to go do on this thing? Let's go drip a little bit of water on it. Let's go see if it beads up. Then we'll get into, we got some stuff to deal with on the tongue of the trailer. Yeah, let's go try that. Soaked right in, right? As long as it sits on top. I was hoping to be a little bit more like Rain-X on a windshield and bead right up on it, but as long as the water can't get in to the wood and like talk about freezing, come off of there. And again, our climate is very, we have winter and snow gets piled up on them and ice and everything. So I'm kind of wondering if it'd be a little easier to try and shovel that stuff off. What do you want to do now? I think let's go towards the tongue. Yeah, I think I kind of want to utilize the space up here. I already put that winch on a while ago, and the controls kind of like flap around. The railing is right here, or the ramp, and I was kind of like curling the stuff up behind it. Not that crazy about that though. What was the specs on the trailer we were talking about earlier? All right, so we can haul 2,086 pounds on it. It's probably a 2,900. What are we? It's probably a 2,900 pound. Yeah, because I think anything over that you need electric brakes for, which is 29.9, and it's got a 3,500 pound axle. So we are in minus whatever junk we put on it. So we'll call it 2,000 pounds. 2,086 is what they're saying. We're probably going to add about 86 pounds worth of junk. So we have a 2,000 pound range. So my thought is maybe we get like some kind of a box and we'll mount it up in the front here and be able to take the controller hardware, because it's bolted on. It's not like it's clipped on. We could maybe flop that into the box, and then of course all the ratchet straps need a home for them to stay with the trailer too. So let me go poke around and see what I got. I have one line over here I'm not that crazy about. This one, I'm just kind of wondering if it's going to shed water. It's kind of square on top of an old thing. And I had a couple other ones, but they all have drawers in the front of it. So let me go poke around and see what I can find. That's too small, like this, but maybe a little bit larger. See if I can dig up. So I'm up walking around the stash. And there's this one. I think it came with the orange truck. I'm gonna say it's heavy. What do they say? Kamado. There's two of them. Little mud flaps. I think it might be a little too on the large stuff, but we could beat that lid out. That's not a problem. I kind of wanted something to, when it rains, it doesn't sit on top of it. It's pretty ratty and beat up, which is good because that way we don't feel guilty about if we have to cut it up a little bit. And it's Galvy. How heavy is it? Yeah, it's a good 10 pounds. We're gonna be under 2,000 carrying capacity. Let's go drag that down, set it on there, see how it looks. And if not, find something else. I think it's a little too wide. Because if I try to center it, yeah, that's about center right there. No matter where we slide this, it's going to clobber the side of the box when we go to rotate it, or will it? Because we only need to go backwards with it, right? Yeah, we might be okay with that. I don't know, it's kind of trashy looking. Let's go swap it out for the red one. I was just painted black, right? Yeah, it's a little better suited to it. We still have to figure out how to get the, I don't know how we can get the controls. And we get this stuff. I just flop it. We'll just flop it right over and in. Then we gotta be able to have access to the so if we go right, we'll get our hands back in there. We could probably just notch a corner in it that we run the wires through, just to keep it out of the weather. Thoughts? We could probably just, you know, again, self-tappers into the aluminum frame to hold it. I'm gonna go look up in the attic of the garage at the house and see if there's any other toolbox we can get. I'm just worried about this taking water in, you know. The corners, plus if this is the driving direction, there's no lip here, you know, that's pretty much, water can intrude. Not that we can't punch some holes in the bottom. What's going to be in it? Straps, pair of vice grips, can of WD-40, you know. Yeah, let me go see what I got. You know what might work good? How about a cooler? It locks the lid on, right? And it's pretty watertight. A little bigger than that might be good, but that's an idea. Digging in it. Hey, look! Another broken camera. That was number 2 on the list of 20. I was looking for those too. I don't know. I'm not totally unhappy with it. I think we could find one that was a little wider to grab those 2 rails. Not that we can't put something underneath that to support it, but I'm not exactly hating it. More shopping. The home metal pile. That's kind of small. It's a tackle box. It wouldn't be a bad idea neither, huh? Getting closer. I think this has locks in it. I think it's full of locks. Or nothing. Nope, radiator hoses. I think we'll bring this. I think it's gonna be a little too long, but maybe not because it's skinnier. It may be sitting back further on that frame. It's got kind of the shape I'm looking for. Still have coolers in the back of my mind as far as being a good idea because it's plastic and it should be a little bit weatherproof. We are going deep. My light's dying. It's one of those big plastic totes over there. It's Rubbermaid totes. Now, in the dungeon. There's this one. It's one of those plug-in ones. The plug-in part kind of crapped out. Yeah, it's like a. It's not just a cooler. It's supposed to be like a powered one, like a heat and AC. We've already replaced this with something else. Let's go grab that. It's about the right looking size, right? The problem is, not that it really matters. Because there's not as much space on the inside for all the, the air conditioning part of it, the refrigerator part of it. Actually, out with this one. This is a long toolbox this way. We could probably get away with that. Actually, it doesn't look bad neither, right? Let's try the cooler. Either one. I don't know. Do you have a preference? I think the cooler would be more watertight is my only thought process. The colors kind of match the trailer too. It's not like obnoxious like the red one on there, you know? Are we gonna be able to clear this? We move it. Yeah, we'd have to move it all the way up to here, right? Let's eyeball that. Let's grab the floor jack and we'll stick it up here. Let's loosen that up, kind of slide it around, see what things articulate and get at, can we get it out of harm's way? Good enough, because if we slide it up too far, this is gonna hit here, And then we can get a screw in the corners. It'll kick this way a little. Yeah, and then we'll make a decision. If not, we'll go with that toolbox. All right, so we need to be able to turn it, pull the pin. Let's go all the way forward with it. We have plenty of room right there. How do we let it down? Probably even be better for stability. So throw a toolbox up there. Beverage. I don't hate it. And I also don't hate it. Pick one, will you please? Half of you. I'll be wrong with half of you. I am thinking probably we'll start with the cooler. Because the toolbox is more useful to me in other aspects. And if you don't like it, you can change it. But I think this will be probably a little bit better off. The wires can hang over the top into the lid. And we'll put a notch in it, and we can just take all this stuff, throw it right in. If we find it gets any water in it, I'll cut a trough through it, either that or in the lid. And do we need to? Let's see what we get. Yeah, a little relief. And if it gets water in it, we could drill a hole in it. If we hate it, we'll unscrew it, and we know we have that for a backup. Executive decision has been made. We're getting a cooler. Let's drill a hole in the base of that, see how far it is. Watch, we hit like a cooling line or something. Did it make it through? No. So it's at least that far. That might be an issue trying to find screws. That could be long enough. about that long. I'm gonna go look, see if any self-tappers or anything that can travel that distance. Like I would like to just self-tap into the aluminum underneath, but if we have to nut and bolt it, I guess I can. I took a peek in the hardware cabinet and I came across these. These are for deck to metal, so they're wood self-tappers into metal. I guess we can call that wood. And they have a little, little drill bit essentially on the end of it. It'll make its own little path and then it threads into it after it's done. I say we go try those. And I have one, I sunk it through. It is probably about that much thread showing. That's all we need, as long as you can, the aluminum is probably only about 3/16 thick, something like that, maybe 1/4 inch. But we should still be within that window. We'll run them in. Maybe we should put a washer on top. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Not going anywhere. Do 2 more in the outer edges. We'll do 1 here and 1 there, and I think she's good. I should have done this when the cooler was off, but let's go make a little. Get in there. I can take the ramp off, right? Yeah, I think it's just sitting there. Excuse you. As you were. There's the insulation. I think, let's go try that. That's good enough. It's got a lock on it. That's got it. A little bit of drag on it, but and then it's got a lip on here that feathers in on there. I think that's good. Water should shed over it for the most part. And again, if not, we're drilling holes in it. Well, I can't say I got everything done that I wanted to, but pretty close. I think getting 2 more cleats for the back, that'll work out just fine. I bought, I think they were like $3 a piece. They weren't terribly expensive. And those longer ones there, I cut those. There was 2 of them. They were, I don't know, maybe 4 feet long, and I cut them in thirds to make the 3 pieces up that we have. As far as the winch is concerned, people are like, what do you use for a battery? You don't have a battery to power that. I usually just carry a jumper pack with me when I do this stuff. And worst case, even if you don't have it with you, you can just turn a vehicle around and hit jumper cables to it. But most of the time, that's what I use to go power it. Because if not, you put a battery in this, every time you go to use it, it's dead. You got to go charge it up. Where I use the jumper pack so frequently that it pretty much is always charged. So there should be plenty of room in there. Those other straps, and again, throw a hammer, some vice grips, kind of little stuff that you need sometimes when you're trying to do a recovery of something. Maybe a piece of chain, and it locks. Happy for that. And I was able to squeeze everything through the bars. I could probably even put them into the lower level. Just that if you have to take the ramp off, you just got to run the plug back out of it. So I'm happy with it. I'm glad the way it came out. Again, I'm also trying to learn this camera. If it's really bad, you're not even going to see this video. It may just, again, be a practice one for me. I still have software that I have to work with. So this is probably, I filmed it in 4K, but it's not going to be 4K for the most part until I get that software worked out, which is, that's my Achilles heel, is dealing with that stuff. But I'm trying. And I'm waiting. There's another camera that's coming out. This is I don't know if I said in the beginning, it's a kind of like a GoPro. style setup, and the other camera I'm going to do is going to be more of a point and shoot that is maybe not as fisheye as this one is. Kind of like what I was using, but again, it can do in 4K and also better in low lighting. And that does not come out for another week or so. It's just coming out. I think it's a Canon V1, I want to say, is what it is. It's as far as what I'm saying, it's pretty good. Anyway, so we're going to be trying to switch over to that. And the trailer is good for 2,000 pounds, and a Volkswagen weighs 1,800 pounds. So, I'm not saying I'm going to be putting cars on this, but maybe. I like it. I like the way it laid out. I'm glad I was able to kind of save that wood from deteriorating and having to go deal with that. And that's always just a pain in the ass. So, a little bit of maintenance on it and preventative to keep it from corroding around, and we'll see what happens. There's 4 gallons in there, believe it or not, and it is not really soaking up anywhere, like out of the pores. Maybe once every couple of years or so, run over it with the roller, at least just the top, and help preserve it. We'll see how that does over time. I wonder how it will do on my deck at my house too. It seems like anything like you do like a solid stain, it seems like it scrapes off, and you move like patio furniture or anything around it. And even with this, you load stuff, you drag stuff up on it, it peels whatever finish you have off of it. I was originally thinking of doing like a deck sealant or something, but I decided to go with this because it works so good for me on cars. I use it much heavier. I use bar and chainsaw oil. It's very sticky and tacky. I thin it with kerosene and I spray it under a car. This was easy because it's flat. You get to roll it on. All right, guys, anything you think that I should add to this, let me know in the comments, and I will kind of check them out. Not saying I'm going to make a video of trying to go do that, but possibly we can go add on this a little bit more, something to make it a little bit more user friendly. I'm definitely happy the way it came out. It's a good trailer. It's good for towing behind a lighter vehicle, and it is, you kind of barely know what's back there. Again, I thought I said it was 700 pounds. I think it's 900 pounds, but still, it's not 4,000 pounds, Plus, they you go through tolls, they only get you for 1 axle. They get the tolls pay per how many axles you got on it. Neat. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me, doing some, I don't know if we call it wrenching, oiling, and we'll get into something pretty soon on something else. We'll throw those, the graveyard of toolboxes up in the loft up there, and they may come back some other day for something else. But for this one, we're going to hang out and be cool. Guys, I'll see you later.